Here we are at our example 3 from our 4.3, number 5, second set of notes. When we're trying to factor down this trinomial, we would try normally a GCF, and unfortunately that 29 is kind of giving us issues. It's not divisible by 3, whereas the other two are. So when we look at this one, unfortunately, it's just not evenly divisible with a GCF. And so as a result, that kind of then pushes us into creating our x. We have our a, b, and c identified, and the top part of our x is where we have a times c. So 6 times 42 gives us 252. Okay, and our b value here is 29. Now, some teachers, they will say do the signs. It really just depends. For me, I'm more about the numbers and identifying the numbers. I think that you can identify the signs later on. So usually I like to tackle one thing at a time, but different teachers kind of do different things. So now we're going to go ahead and create our list for 252. And so we have the numbers 1 and 252. That accomplishes that. We have 2 and 126. We have 3 and 84. We have 4 and 63. We have 6 and 42. We have 7 and 36. It's not divisible by 8, but then 9 and 28. We have 12 and 21. And then finally 14 and 18. It's not divisible by 15, 16, or 17. So that is our list. And then we have to ask ourselves, which of these pair combine in any way to give us that 29 that we're hoping for in the middle? Looking at them, it looks like 7 and 36 combine to be able to do that. So those are the numbers that we're going to go ahead and use. We have 7 and 36. So now over here we've got our 6x squared minus 29x minus 42. And we know that we're going ahead and using 7 and 36. Again, that order doesn't matter. But the signs do. So this is what I mean by, this is where I more introduce those signs. How do we end up with a negative 29 there? Well, I need negative 36 and positive 7 there. So as you guys can see, on the first part with our x and creating that list, I focus more on just the numbers themselves. And then in the second part, I focus on the signs. Okay, so that's just kind of how I teach it. I think it helps break it up for students. But if you want to do it all right here in the x, some teachers do that. That's up to you. I like to kind of break it up though. So now we've got our 6x squared and our negative 42 that we just kind of drop down. Now going ahead and factoring this by grouping, we're going to look at our first pair. We notice that they're only divisible by an x. So all we can do there is pull out an x, and we're left then with 6x plus 7. Whereas when we look at our second pair, we notice that we can pull a negative out and a negative 6 with that. So we're pulling out negative 6. Usually if your bigger degree there is a negative like that, you want to try and pull that negative out, okay? And then we're left then with 6x plus 7 when we do that, when we pull that negative 6 out. Now that they share that common factor of 6x plus 7, you're pulling that out of both. So 6x plus 7. And then you would just have your leftover items, so the x minus 6. But again, that is our factored final version. Again, though, that is example 3 from our 4.3, number 5, second set of notes.